Hi, I'm Ram Batu.
And I'm Shan Karbanda, and welcome to our podcast, Weekly Dose of High School, where we'll be guiding you through the life of a high school student while speaking to knowledgeable people in the industry.
Welcome to our 23rd episode. In today's episode, we're here again with Dilnaz Kain, a senior field director for the Rishi Kumar for Congress campaign. In the previous episode, we heard Dilnaz talk about how the Rishi Kumar for Congress internship is going to help you out with your college admissions.
Without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
So Dilnaz, if you were asked to give a prominent aspect of the Rishi Kumar Congress campaign, besides it being utilized in college applications and building strong social experiences, what would it be?
Okay, so let's see, prominent aspect. So I think honestly, I would say that the part that has been the most, I would say, insightful, or I would say prominent, as you said, is actually that when we say we're a data-driven campaign, I would say we're absolutely a data-driven campaign. I am very impressed at how, like I said, there's another aspect to this campaign that I don't have, that I have not met. But they're constantly evaluating information as it's coming in, constantly figuring out which strategy to go with, how many text messages. There's just a whole bunch of other stuff that happens on the back end. And I think that's a good sign. That's somebody that is using the current tools available. And it's not just, we're self-funded, right? We're grassroots. We don't have big PAC money. We do not take PAC money. And to be on such a shoestring budget and still makes such great judgment calls says a lot. Like we're not hiring big companies to help us with this. We don't have the money for it. And yet we can evaluate, hey, this district, this area, this region, we're polling higher here, we're polling lower here. So I would say that has been the most prominent aspect, that when Rishi says we're a data-driven campaign, he's not lying. He really means it. He's not making it up. He's not like bad words, as they say, blowing smoke up our,
Yeah.
So if that has not been something that we've emphasized in our training or in our weekly meetings, that's feedback to take back. If you guys have any input, why don't you tell me so I could take the feedback back to the campaign on how we could improve? What would you guys say, Joshan, is the most prominent aspect?
So I would say like the most prominent aspect is like developing public speaking skills and like communicating with others. So maybe like a feedback that the campaign could you could give back would be maybe like showing like the new interns to join like how to get started, since now everyone is like just extroverted and like is ready to go out there, since everyone has their own comfort zone. To like get out of that comfort zone, there might be like more resources available. Maybe that's something that the campaign could a little bit work on.
Okay. And Varun, I know you've been with us a lot shorter than Joshan.
Yeah.
What have you noticed? Oh,
Well, obviously on Slack, the app, you send like daily reminders to join the Zoom meeting so we can talk about like new circumstances and like upcoming situations. So I guess Rishi Kumar, sorry?
Go ahead.
Yes, I guess Rishi Kumar is like directors and people who work under him are like really good at engaging us to participate more. So that's a key aspect I really like of this campaign.
Okay. Okay, good.
All right. Okay. Let's say Rishi Kumar wins in November. Do you know what will happen to the campaign internship, since obviously he won't be going around canvassing? So will this be converted into like an office managerial type of internship, similar to like how current House representatives are running, like Rokana, for example, or does he have other plans?
I've had this question asked to me by so many interns. You will not even believe how many people have asked me this question. And I'll tell you one thing, I have never gotten a straight answer, but there was a time when I did get a straight answer. And the answer was yes, there will be a couple of positions. So top interns will get picked to continue moving forward, and there will be a managerial office. Okay, but he's never strictly defined it to me, and I don't know the reason, but as far as I know, there will be 2 positions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. And we kind of alluded to this previously, but what has been like your favorite part of the internship since you joined last year? And what aspects do you enjoy the most? And which ones maybe not so much?
Okay, yeah, I think I talked about the kids, and definitely, I'll tell you what. Let's start with what I don't like. My least favorite part is spreadsheets, and so the last 4 weeks have been hell because I was in charge of allocating all those lawn signs to different people, different kids, different zones. So spreadsheets are not my friend, and so and nobody can get away from spreadsheets. But I would say spreadsheets, that has to be the least fun part of the campaign. And the most fun part definitely is sitting on those weekly Zoom calls with you guys and finding out that none of you have TikTok, and that's why none of you would make TikTok videos. And I'm like, am I the only person on TikTok on this call? And wondering why every time we assigned you guys TikTok videos, nobody did one, and finding out none of you care about TikTok. Oh yeah, that was fun. So there's fun things like that where, we're kind of disconnected from your world, and I get to connect into your world, and I get to hear about your lives. I'm lucky I get to go with my interns while I'm canvassing. So I get to understand different aspects of their lives. I get to understand how things are on based where they live, how things are going for them. So I enjoy that because I have a completely different worldview, and so it's interesting to see a different worldview.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Well said.
So, okay. So, Dilnaz, obviously there are students who want to participate in this internship as a means to get another extracurricular in their application, but they're too shy to interact with new people while campaigning. So, do you have any advice for introverted people to feel more comfortable while carrying out their duties?
Sure. So this is actually a good question, because I rank as a very high extrovert. So for me, introverts, are a conundrum, but of course I'm married to an introvert. And I've also had the great pleasure of being a hardware engineer. So I had my fair share of introverts to work with. So I have now very good practice working with introverts. So one thing I have seen is that introverts can be extroverts when needed. Okay, they can learn that skill. It is a skill that they can learn. If you learn that skill or trying to learn that skill, the next step is to try and then practice, practice, practice. And there's a difference between being an introvert and being shy. Okay, an introvert gets exhausted being around too many people and having small talk. A shy person gets anxious and gets shut down. So either way, the end result is still the same. Practice, 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 try, try, try. And I said this is a safe space. If you're a very high introvert and need the help, of course, we will go with you, and we can do it as a team until you're ready to go on your own. Nobody's going to kick you to the curb and say, do it now by yourself. Nobody's going to do that. We've had a lot of kids come through the program who had certain, like speech impediments or things that they had to get over. And we've had parents come back and thank us because the kids have overcome those challenges and gotten really good and comfortable at communicating and moving through the campaign. So we're willing to work with anybody as long as they're willing to persevere and work with us.
Yeah, that's a positive side for this campaign, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. So our final question for you is about how Rishi Kumar's maybe presence on social media. So you may be well aware of the fact that Rishi Kumar has an upcoming debate with the current incumbent and issue in the next couple of days. So similar to that, I remember Rishi Kumar doing like a Ask Me Anything on some of the popular Bay Area subreddits. So in case of any audience members who aren't aware of what an AMA or Ask Me Anything is, it's basically where a candidate or a person comes down quite relative importance goes on to Reddit and answers a bunch of questions that the community members have asked. So I remember Rishi Kumar doing that on the r/Bay Area subreddit, which is about 500,000 people on there. So he did that for the 2020 election. So do you think he'll do that similar, something like that, for this election?
So I don't know because he's not mentioned it to me, but I'll tell you one thing about Rishi that I've seen. And I've mentioned this earlier. He says he runs a data-driven campaign. So, and this actually also shows what kind of leader, if Rishi wins, we're going to be electing and putting into Congress, okay? So I've seen Rishi constantly evaluate information as it's coming and make a decision. So he will look back, if that AMA actually was valuable and he found it of value, he will proceed to do it again this time, okay? And I constantly have seen him do this as information is coming in, and he will make a decision based on the information. He will evaluate it, go with his gut, and try to decide, is that going to be more impactful of my time, and will it make a difference with getting more viewership or voters, or, you know, is it a good fit for my time, or is this just going to be a waste of my time? And I've seen this happen over and over again, many times. But at the same time, he also listens. If one of the field directors talks him into it and makes a very compelling argument that I think this is going to be this is going to make sense for you, and that is going to work for you, then he will try it. And then if it doesn't look like it's making the impact he's looking for, he'll say, no, I'm going to have to let this go. I don't have time for this. Okay. So, but this emphasizes the kind of person we are going to put into Congress. We're moving out of we're moving into strange times. We're moving out of this constant steady state time to slightly chaotic times. So we need someone who can deal with things as they're coming, deal with information, and make a decision and evaluate whether the impact that they thought was happening happened or not, and reshift and reprioritize.
So yeah, like you mentioned that he will analyze the data and see how, like, if it's beneficial or not. In my 2 cents, I think that's very true. And but I think when you do the AMA on Reddit, and especially like on r/Bay Area, because like that's directly in your district, as a personal opinion, I think it's for anyone, not just like congressional candidate. I think it's fairly important because like you're interacting with people who reside in your community, so you're getting to know them, like, and what their concerns are. So like people are asking about, like I remember in the last one, people are asked about the new Green Deal, his stance on there were the protests, the George Floyd protest, how COVID should be like taken into consideration in the Bay Area. So I think that may be influential. Also, like the debate study is coming up will obviously be very paramount. So in my opinion, I think what his social media presence is good, and it's getting the word out there for maybe people who might not come to like his rallies, or might not open the doors to campaign or see his flyers or his lawn signs.
Correct. I think that's actually a very good, valuable point that you made. I absolutely agree with you. I should probably ask him, because I did not know he had an AMA, because I only ran into Rishi last year. So so that's good to know, Jashan. I'm glad you've looked into that. This is one thing I see, the kids who are really engaged, especially the kids who want to go into poli-sci, are very engaged and seem to know a lot more than sometimes me and some of the field directors do. So that's good to hear that you guys have these perspectives and have these viewpoints. The next step is to put that on Kumar for Congress. If you're shy and introverted, put it on Kumar for Congress. I think Rishi, this is a great idea if Rishi would explore it. It's not my job, it's your job. And that's the way he can gauge engagement, and he can say, oh yeah, you know what, if the kids think that this is a good thing, maybe I'll consider it.
Yeah, it's also really good because,
Go ahead, Vern.
It's also really good because Reddit is a place where there are a lot of different opinions, and there are a lot of harmful opinions as well. So it's really good for Rishi to interact with people who have like different opinions than him, and he's willing to like he has an open mind. He's going there with an open mind, willing to like change his perspective based on other people's opinions. So that's something I really admire.
Okay, well then I would recommend that you guys, I don't know which one of you is introverted on this call, but I would recommend you put that on Kumar for Congress and see what happens. Put your point of view and perspective on there.
hmm And just to for our audience members who are wondering what Kumar for Congress is, it's not like a secret place. It's just our Slack channel, which everyone uses for professional communication. Well, that's it for today for episode 23 of Weekly Dose of High School. Hope you guys enjoyed Dilnaz speak about the advantages of the Rishi Kumar's Congress internship for our college admissions.
Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or on YouTube. We're on all those platforms. We upload weekly episodes, so make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an upload. Until then, take it easy.